Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into this week's edition of Bullring Breakdown. I'm joined with Terry Pierce here for the race recap of, oh gosh, it's Monday, so what is that? July 26th. Um,
28. Yeah, 26 was the race.
Today's the 28th.
Yes.
So yeah, July 26th, breaking down all the action that happened at the Woodhall Raceway. I do want to remind everybody before we get underway here to please like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, on the YouTube page as well. Like us on TikTok at Woodhall64 and Woodhall Raceway on Facebook. Um, I guess before we get started, I do want to mention one thing that well, it must have been last night. I guess we lost one of our own at the Woodhall Raceway. I know if you're a fan that listens to this, you probably don't have the contact that the drivers do. But if you're a driver, I'm sure you've talked to her. But we lost Patty Jackson over the weekend. She's one of the ladies that was there every weekend in the pit shack, and we just want to give our thoughts and prayers to going out to her family.
Yes, absolutely, Joe. I got to work with her Saturday night. I think it was the first time that I've actually took the time and I worked the gate out there for Tom Newell, who was late, and so I actually got to work with her for the first time ever. So yeah, very sad to lose her. That's for sure. She'd been in play for a long time there.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the other thing too is there's a lot of people that work at the racetrack that you don't even that if you come as a fan, you don't even think about, that you don't, even the ladies that work at the grandstand side, you kind of just go up to them, hand them money every week, and you don't really think about the job that they do. And I think what are there? We got five ladies that do that, and they're there
yep.
every week, and it takes a lot of people to do it, and you know,
Yes, it does.
um. So I guess I did want to start out with that. So then now we can kind of move into the race recap thing. And one thing that I do want to touch on too is well, the night was brought to you by McCourt's Auto Collision, so we'll give McCourt's a shout out real quick. But the one thing I do want to touch on before we get into the heats is I heard a lot of complaining about the track in the heats. And I want everybody to know that there's kind of a reason for that. I don't really want to make excuses, but sometimes it's not, I don't do the track prep, so I'm not making one for me, but sometimes there is a reason for that. And the pump on the water truck broke on Friday evening, so they couldn't put the right amount of water on it Friday, and then they were still working on it on Saturday morning. So that kind of, just put a wrench in all their track prep plans.
Yeah. So we actually yeah, Terry Nicky called me and said we need to talk immediately because we're discussing whether or not we're going to cancel the show for the night. And I ran up there. The pump had quit Friday night. They worked on it Friday night, trying to get it running, couldn't get it running. Saturday morning, they worked on it. They ended up going and borrowing two other pumps and brought them up there. And the other two pumps that we borrowed didn't work either. So we ended up tearing the pump apart. I went up and helped them. We tore a pump apart and we finally got it going. Geez, I don't even know. Do you remember? It must have been around 9 or 10 o'clock Saturday morning before we got the pump going, and was
Mhm.
able to pump water into the tankers to get water on the track. So yes, we knew we were in trouble. We dumped as much water on as we could from then on out. But yeah, we kind of knew that it probably wasn't going to work the best in our favor, and but the alternative was not to race, and we didn't want that. We've had enough rainouts this year, so
Right.
yeah,
So I did want to mention that as just kind of because you hear that all the time when the tracks miss the setup and stuff, but it's not, kind of coming into the night, we knew for the heat races the track was going to be in a little bit, leave a little bit to be desired, I guess is.
yeah, absolutely. And we did, before we went started the heats, we brought the grader out and cleaned up one spot on there, and actually I think it helped, and I don't think it was all that bad after that.
Mm-mm.
So
For the hand we were dealt, um, they
yep,
Terry and them really made the most out of the situation that they could have. So.
yeah, absolutely did. Yes.
All right, so then we can move into the heat race action here. Insinger Performance Modifieds, they were won by Aiden Grover, AJ Petrobowski Jr., and Russell Morseman. And I tell you one thing, if you remember this heat race, Aiden Grover was a rocket. And he
He was
continued his
absolutely.
good wins or good runs, and that car looked very, very good in the heat race.
Yes, that that car hasn't slowed down a bit since the
Mhm.
'91, and I don't think he's come off cloud nine since the '91. The car's on a rail, and it just continues on.
Right. And then, Russell, he's no stranger to heat race wins. He's pretty stout in that. And then
Yep,
AJ's always, he's always kind of one to beat when he shows up. So
for sure.
then we got the Empire Super Sprints. Dylan Swearnick, he picked up the first heat race win, and Davey Franek, he picked up the second one. Uh, I guess I don't really have too much to say on them. I kind of looked up some information on them, but I don't really know them, as well. I know Davey Franek won the night before at Outlaw, but short of
Dave,
that, I'm
Davey Franek is a guy that you never count him out when he shows up. When he pulls in his holler, that he's going to be a guy that you got to watch. Last year, he actually took like, geez, I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but for like 2 months straight, they loaded their hauler and went to Florida, and they raced all down there with all the big boys for like 2 months straight. And he made almost every single show that they were at. They made. I mean, he's a stout competitor no matter where he goes. You can see him. He goes down to Fort Valley. You can see him down there quite a bit racing with the bigger guys. Yeah, he's not afraid to mix it up with them in his shows. I mean,
Have
he's
you
a
ever
stout.
been to Fonda?
Yep, long time ago.
You
Yep,
you know
yep.
how on the top of turn two they got that big fence?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So the only time I've ever been at Fonda, Davey Franek rolled it over, and it actually ended up going up and over that wooden fence.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, I can't. What is his nickname?
No panic,
No.
Davey Franek.
Yeah. No panic, David Brannick.
I'd have to
Yep.
imagine he was panicking that night, but
Yep.
So then
Yeah.
the Southern Tier Customs Rush Crate late model, Steve LeBaron, he picked up the heat race win. Just kind of running out of things to say about Steve LeBaron, I guess. Um,
Yeah. Again, there's a guy that he puts it together every week. He shows up and yeah, he's fast right out of the box.
mhm. Joe Wilcox Performance Automatic Street Stocks. A couple of teammates picked up the wins. Mike Spencer, Brian Butler. So nice to have Brian back with us. I know he's had a little bit of time off due to I guess tow truck duties and whatnot, and
Yep.
so
Yep.
good for him, and probably in a good run for that team is putting
Yeah.
two heat
Absolutely.
wins. So then we got the Wicked T Quad C's, Wesley Hoteling, Nate Freeland. I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on that because that's just I don't know. I'm out of things to say about them guys too.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
And then we had joining us as well with the Empire Super Sprints. We also had the IMCA's. This was the NY Penn IMCA modified series. So this is the sanctioned series, and so Rodney Morgan and Brad Delameter they picked up the heat race wins. Rodney Morgan, I think he won the night before at Outlaw too. So he was
Mm-hmm.
coming in with some momentum.
Right. Right.
Then we had the Lad Road Auto Hobby Stocks, Dylan Phillip, Scooter Brown, and Brandon Conklin. Um, Scooter Brown, I talked to him a little bit on the front stretch there. Picking up the heat race win with the way that his year has went so far, I know he was happy about that. So
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what makes that win even better, Joe?
I do.
Go ahead. Tell the story.
Well, I'll just mention it. Olivia. So she was our junior fan, and I got to talking to them down there, and I was talking to Scooter on the front stretch, and he said that they came all the way from Texas, and I go, Texas? Like the state? He goes, oh yeah. So I guess his dad lives down in Texas, and I guess from what he was I talked to his dad a little bit, and from what he was telling me is that his kids are spread out all over the place, and he has a brother that lives down in by New York City that way, and so they came up and visited them, and uh, they came up and they wanted to see him race, so they got to see him race, and that's and then for his niece to win the Woodhall fan, that's a cool deal. She comes all the way
It
from
is.
Texas, and then to kind of get something like that, she got to go down on the track, take a picture with them, and just a cool deal. And I'm glad they
It
spent
is.
their Saturdays there. I hope they had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. That's awesome. It's an awesome story. It's great to hear that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what we want every Saturday night, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not asking anybody from the state of Texas to make that tow weekly, but if you hear this podcast and you do that and something like that comes up, let me know because that's cool stories. I like that stuff.
Absolutely. And we had a competitor there from
Yep.
Maryland too on Saturday night who
Yeah,
brought
I
his
was gonna
car
get
all the way
into
from
that.
Maryland.
I was gonna
Yep.
get into that in the features when we usually
Yeah,
do
yeah.
our, but uh, so that was intermission. Well, what do we got here? So we had the
We
Warriors.
got the Warriors are next.
So Courtney Thomas, she led, and then after a caution, Bella Morseman ended up taking over the top spot. She picked up her fourth win of the year, her second in a row. Um, I don't know. All these kids they're getting better. You can see the ability that they're having. At the beginning of the year, you'd see a bunch of cautions, and now it seems like there's never cautions. It
Right.
seems like we let them out there and they run 10 laps and it's never an issue, and they go by rattle them right off. So that's good to
Right.
see.
Right. Well, again, good for Isabel. I mean, that after she blew a motor 2 weeks in a row and then to come back this week and win. So congratulations to her. Way to
Yeah,
turn that around.
absolutely. So Caden Thomas, he finished second, and Courtney Thomas ended up third. So, um, and I don't know if you've looked at this. We'll touch on it later, but that points race is getting very tight.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh, so then, well, like I said, we had intermission.
We had a couple dashes.
Oh, yep. So Trevor Years, he won the dash for the Empire Super Sprints. That was to set the back part of the field. And then, I don't have it written down here, Terry. I'm trying here, but trying to figure out who won the dash for the IMCAs.
Um,
Ah, boy.
yeah, I don't have it in front of me neither.
You know,
Um,
I you think I'd be better at looking this stuff up, but I just kind of forgot that they had a dash, and
and
I
what
don't think
was
I
that?
don't think they normally do, so it
Oh,
just kind of threw me off a little bit.
yeah, I guess the only one I could think of was the 112 car, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Brad Delameter won the Murphy's Pizza Dash for Cash, so
Okay.
um,
Yeah.
good on him. And I guess you know what? Before we get too far, I did forget to mention I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to Chasing Dreams Transport and Lubick Sales and Marketing. They were the sponsors for the IMCAs, and um, they raised some good money for that race, and Jake Maynard did a good job as always, and so I
Yep.
just want to give some people some shout outs before we get too far into this thing.
All right. Absolutely. Yep.
And actually, I'm looking at that Dash for Cash. That was 4 cars, and all 4 people got paid. So hey, you can't be too mad about that, can you?
No, definitely not. That's what you like to see.
Yeah, right. All right. So
You
then
get,
in the mission, I know.
did you do the ESS dash for cash?
Yeah, that was Trevor Years.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All
Yep,
right.
Trevor Years. Uh, yeah, that just set the back part of the field. They do that every time. So,
Yeah.
then we have the intermission, Chasing Dreams Transport, and Lubick Sales and Marketing, and I believe the Empire Super Sprints also. I believe all of them threw out some T-shirts, and I don't really know. I was trying to go to the bathroom and get a cheeseburger at that point in the night, so.
Yeah.
So that kind of, I guess that concluded our intermission, and then we went
Mhm.
into the feature. Well, we had to put water down, I guess, too. We might as well address that. We had to put some water down, and the
Yep.
track was starting to come apart, and they did the best they could with the hand they were dealt, but that track needed some water, and they put it down. So we had a little bit of a delay, but I don't think it delayed us too much. So
No, not really.
that's
Not
kind of
really.
always what you want with that.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
Well
I can
then,
I can touch on the rest of it if you want. On the running order, how we switched it up there, if you want.
oh yeah, 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 sure. Why don't you touch on that? Yeah.
So so we met a little bit in the tower at intermission, and I did with Terry Nicky, and we kind of discussed it a little bit as a game plan. We were watching the radar all night long, and we knew we had storms were right there. We were hoping they were going to go south of us, and there was times when boy, it just didn't look like it was gonna. It looked like we were going to get hammered. Now, with that being said, at that time when we were in the tower, it looked like the storm one of them was going to hit us right then, or within the next 10 minutes, and it didn't
Around
look
eight
good.
thirty.
Yep, yep.
Around 8:30, I think it was supposed to hit.
Yeah, yeah, and it didn't look good for us. And here's the deal with the sprint cars. Sprint cars the ESS runs such a tight schedule that if we got rained out, there was a pretty good possibility we were not going to be able to make that feature up. We didn't want that. We didn't want it for our fans. So that's why we met in there to discuss it. And we came up with the idea that let's switch the order a little bit. Let's bring the sprint cars out. Let's let them get some heat in their tires, get them warmed up there, and let's run their feature first. And after that, we'll go back to the schedule and we'll see how it goes from there. It actually paid off for us. It worked. We brought the sprint cars out. Had a little bit of an issue there. We had to get them up and running and get them around there a little bit to dry the track out from the water. And then we ended up putting fuel in the cars, letting them refuel. But it did work out, and we got their feature in, and that was what was most important to us, to get that in so the fans could see it. That's what they paid to come for, and we wanted to do all we could to make sure that happened, and it worked. So,
Not only that, but these guys come from. I know there's one that comes from Quebec.
yep,
That's I'm looking right now. Davey Franick, he's from New Jersey. They're coming from a long ways away. They got a long tow too, and even if you did have that rain delay, that's not fun for them guys to be trying to drive home at 2 o'clock in the morning. So.
right, for sure.
So Chuck Hebing, Chuck the Cobra, he started out on he started it in second, started alongside Jason Barney, and I think the Cobra just put on a clinic. If you've been to a 360 sprint car race at Woodhall, odds are you've seen the Cobra win or at least run top three. Because
Yep,
I don't know what he does, but whenever he comes to Woodhall, I think he said it in Victory Lane. Woodhall's been good to us through the years, so um,
yep,
just to he put on a clinic, and I don't think anybody had much for him. Donath might have been able to close the gap a little bit when he got into lap traffic, but that was, not much anyway.
yep. No, absolutely. And again, you can't count out Sean Donovan because he's a past winner from there also. So,
Hmm.
yeah, he always runs good when he comes to Woodall, and Jordan Poirier, same thing with him. I mean, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he's won at Woodall, I believe, but I know he's a fierce competitor every time he comes to Woodall. He
Yeah.
hasn't.
No, he
Oh,
well, to be frank, in Victory Lane, he said he sucks at Woodhall, so he was
oh,
happy with the
well, geez. I always
yeah.
thought he ran good there. I kind of
No,
remember.
he said Woodhall isn't his best track, so he was happy to
Yeah,
have a good run in there. So,
right, right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Sean Donath, he finished second. Jordan Poirier finished third. Davey Franick finished fourth, and Jared Zimbardi fifth. So that's your top five for the Empire Super Sprints. And I did ask Jordan Poirier in Victory Lane if I pronounced his name right, and he said I pronounced it perfectly.
There you go.
So that's something for you.
I went down and I talked to all three of the top three. And I said to him, I said, "Hey, sorry that we had to put a little water on the track. We apologize. We're trying to keep it together." And all three of them, well, yeah, all three of them at that time told me we absolutely love this place. We love to come here. The track was fine with us, no issues. We can't wait to come back again. So they enjoyed it. They enjoy coming to Woodall, and they said it's a track like no other when they come
Yeah.
here. So
Well, I think even in Victory Lane, I think that Jordan Poirier, I think it was him that said, he was a little nervous when they put the water down because you never know what it's going to do, but it made the track really racy. So,
yeah,
I guess
hmm
that's what you always want to hear.
right, yep.
Yeah, so that was your top five for the Empire Super Sprints. And then we brought out the modifieds. Um, so Carter Crooker, Russell Morseman, they started on the pole. Uh, and oh gosh, of course I don't have it. You know what? I am just not on it today, Just not on it today one bit. I thought I had it pulled up and I don't have it pulled up what I was trying to look at, but about who was leading the lap, so
Hmm.
I don't think Carter Crooker. I think Russell Morseman was the one leading the laps at the beginning of
Yeah,
the race.
I know Russell led quite a little bit there early on. Yeah, I don't think, I don't know that Carter led laps, did he?
No, he didn't. So okay, so Russell
Yeah.
Morseman, he led the first 7 laps. Um, and then uh AJ Petrobowski, he started in fourth. And I don't know, every time that kid comes, he seems to be he's got the place figured out. He seems to be one to beat whenever he pulls in the area. I don't know if a lot of competitors like to see him pull in the area because he just unloads and he's fast. So he got by him on lap 8, and he was able to hold off everybody for the feature win. There was a caution on lap 14. Nobody had anything for AJ, but the um the story of this race was Brady Fultz, Carter Crooker, and Russell Morseman.
Yeah,
Because when AJ was running away with this one, if he had a rearview mirror, he might have crashed this thing watching the racing that was going on behind him.
for sure, for sure. I'll say this. I said it a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say it again. Brady Fultz is due to win some racing. That car is fast, and
Hmm.
he's been knocking on the door, and he's just been a little bit shy, but he's going to get it. It's coming. So,
Right. Well, I'm looking at it right now. He started eighth. Um, and he started a little bit deeper last week too, with a little bit better redraw luck, and you might have some better luck, and the caution came out kind of early, but at that point I don't think Brady had came on quite yet. And
right.
then it kind of went green to checkered from there. So that's tough to, it's tough to run him down when you're trying to pass cars, and you're not getting any help from the yellows.
It is. Absolutely is.
Yeah, so Brady Fultz finished second, Carter Crooker third, Russell Morseman was fourth, and Donnie Lawson was fifth. Good run there for Donnie. I know um they've been dealing with some family issues, so good to see him back. Hopefully everybody is doing well on that camp, and nice to have him back with us, and a nice top 5 for him.
We actually had a couple of them that were there it was good to see him come back.
Yep.
Alan Rulovich was back, and same with Joe DeGin. Both of them
Hmm.
got top 10 finishes, and they're ones that we don't have there every week that you come in when their schedule allows. And it was great to see both them guys there too.
Right. And Mark Goodwin was back with us. He pops up probably 4 or 5 times a year, just kind of sporadically every here and there. No real rhyme or reason that I know of. So nice to have him with us as well.
Right?
Uh, Jason Andrews, I
Yep.
talked to him a little bit in the
There you
pits,
go.
and you would have thought that I would have asked him if he's going to race here weekly, but I never did. So, uh,
Yeah.
I guess I get the
I'll
kick in
say,
the can for that one.
if you look all the way back to 18th again, you got Brian Doolittle back there 2 weeks in a row with motor problems. I feel bad for Brian. He's working his butt off trying to get it figured out, and he's just struggling. When the car's on, it's on, and he's running good. But when it's not, watch out.
Yeah,
So
right. Well, and hopefully with that big Wednesday night show, hopefully he can get that thing dialed back in.
yeah, right, absolutely, yep,
All right. Well, then we had the Southern Tier Customs Rush Crate late models. Well, Brett Marlatt started in the pole. I I don't know. I've been saying for weeks it seems like it's kind of a race between him and LeBaron to which one get to the front first. And this week Brett
yep.
started there, so I guess that's just the way it goes sometimes. And uh, Brett picked up another feature win this week, so good for him. That's his fourth win on the year. Jacob Wilbur, who was back with us, he finished second. Steve LeBaron third. Ricky Laux fourth. Joe Layfield fifth. Anything to add there? I got
No,
one
I
more
mean,
thing to add, but I'll let you go.
it was good to see Jacob Wilbur come back. It was good to see him come back and race again. He's always fast when he comes there, and the kid really loves the place. And again, you know, he's from Hinsdale, but his car owner lives in Ohio, I believe it is. So they have a 4 hour trip to get to Woodall on Saturday night. So that's pretty cool to make him see that trip to come. And like I said, he runs well every time he comes. So
Right. And I got a message from Marshall O'Brien about being nice, so I'm just gonna say he smoked a Uke tire, and we're gonna leave it at that.
yeah,
He
there
had,
you
he had a
go. Yeah,
great run going, and he smoked a Uke tire. You know what? It happens
he,
to the best of us, so I'm
He
just
did,
gonna leave it at
unfortunately.
that.
It's funny because I stood down there watching it. And the lap before that, boy, he was awful close on that lap. And I said, boy, I can't believe he missed it. And then he come around the next time and wham.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and he's had a couple really good runs lately, and he's
Yes.
learning,
Yep.
and I know he listens to this, so I'm gonna tell him I've watched Austin Allen, I've watched Jason Knowles, I've watched all these guys hit the Uke tire, so don't beat yourself up too badly.
That's right. I believe we even had Kenny Peoples that hit it the week before. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it
right.
happens. Yep.
Uh, well, this is out of order, but it is what it is. I guess we're just gonna roll with it. Joe Wilcox Performance Automatic Street Stocks. Brian Butler, he started on the pole. He was alongside who started second in this thing? Dan Gardner. Yeah,
Mhm.
tough break there for Dan Gardner. If you're looking for a hard luck award, that might be the one where I might throw that name in for that. Uh,
Right.
but so Brian Butler and Dan Gardner, they started on the front row. Brian Butler, I looked like I thought he might have a shot at this thing, but Teddy Morseman was on a different level. It seemed like he um he couldn't quite get by Butler for a while there, but then the caution came out and he started alongside of him. And then at that point, Teddy just ripped around the top side and he left him in the dust. And he went on to pick up his first win of the year.
He did. He looked good.
Oh,
He was
second,
definitely.
second win.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. But I tell you what, again, that car's fast every week. It's just it's where he starts and what kind of luck he has getting there. But the car is
Absolutely.
fast.
And I've always said I'd struggle to find somebody else in the pit area that has as much experience with the racetrack than Teddy Morseman does. So.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So Brian Butler, he finished in second. Mike Spencer third. Mick Seeley was fourth, and fifth was Bradley Morseman. Uh, Good run there for Butler and Spencer out of the same camp. A real good run for Mick Seeley. You know, he's kind of been going through it this year.
Yep.
Nice to
He's
see
been
him back
struggling.
up in the top five.
Yep. I hope. I think he's working some of the bugs out of that car too. He's been struggling the last couple of weeks, and it was good to see
Yeah,
him. He finally put it together, and he looked fast the whole race too. You know what I mean? He ran some good solid laps. So
right. And then I do want to touch on Blake Decker. Blake Decker, unfortunately for him, Olivia came a little bit farther, but he drove all the way from well, it says here Baltimore, Maryland. So I guess I
yep.
don't know if he actually lives in the city or just down by Maryland, but either way, Maryland to Woodhall's a pretty good tow. So
Well, I can tell you a little story on him that I heard the other night. So yes, he lives in Baltimore, Maryland. That's where he lives, and he's actually moving up here, and that's the game plan. And he decided he called and said, "Hey, I got a street stock. I'd like to know if it's legal at Woodhull. I'd like to bring it with me when I move up there. I'd like to come up and try it." So he called our tech inspector. They went over a few things, decided that the car was legal. The guy showed up with it. Now, when you come into Woodhull, as most of these guys know, Woodhull is not like your other tracks. When you come in, it's tough to get around there your first time. And I'll tell you what, this kid looked like he'd been to Woodhull a million and a half times the way he went around there.
mhm.
The car looked great, and I said, I stood on the infield talking to somebody the other night, and I said, I'll tell you right now, I hope some of these guys took notice because if this kid moves up here and he starts driving and being a regular at Woodhull, we're going to see this kid in victory lane.
Right, and I don't know much about the track that he races at down there,
Right.
but
Hmm.
and that's without having anything set up for Woodhull. That's with uh coming up here with no knowledge of the track, nothing. I mean, you're coming with a blank canvas, and um
Yep.
that's tough to do, especially somewhere like Woodhull, especially if you come from a track that's used to being a little bit more wide open, and
Right.
because I don't think there's any track as tight as Woodhull is. So.
Right. No. No.
And then Brian Mohawk too. Brian Mohawk was with us. I don't know if
Yep.
I've ever seen that gentleman before.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't. I never had either. I thought that was a brand new car that I'd never been there before, but
yeah, I guess it
he
was
looked
nice.
really good early
Yeah,
on. He was looking really good. I don't know, something happened at the end and he dropped back a few spots, but he was looking good for a while there.
right. Yeah, so that does it for the. Oh, and I do want to throw out here, I'm just going to say it. Drew Reitner put a post on Facebook. He's looking for tires and fuel sponsor for the Woodhull 100 on September 20th. You know what? Why not? You know what? That's a young guy who's just getting started in racing. If you want to help out a young kid, give him a shout. Just
Absolutely. He's a rookie in the class too. So good for him. Good for him to jump out there and look for sponsors.
absolutely.
A lot of these guys don't put the effort in to look and you know what? Who knows? Maybe there is a sponsor out there that'll throw some money up for him. I'm willing to bet there is. And I think this might just work for him. So
Right. All right. So then we can move on to the Lad Road Auto. Oh, I'm out of order, but this is the next thing on this list. So we're gonna go with the Lad Road Auto Hobby Stocks because that's what's next on my race pass. So, um,
yeah.
Mike Carapella and Joe Birdsell, they started on the front row, and to the surprise of everybody, including me in the announcers booth, Joe Birdsell ran the low line to a win.
Yep.
It might have been more the middle groove, but it wasn't hanging it right out there like he usually does. So I guess that's something for everybody to look at.
Yep. No, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Not something you see every day. Joe Birdsell not hanging it right up to the top side. That's his third win of the season.
Yep.
Um,
That's just not like Joe either. Joe likes that high side. He likes to put on a show for the fans, and yeah, he definitely he found it down there. It was working for him, and he stuck with it, and it worked. So
Absolutely.
just goes
Yeah,
to show the experience in there, you know.
right. Brandon Conklin, he finished in second. If anybody's wondering, that's the announcer's drive of the night, coming from 12th to second. And I think he might have came from the back a couple of times. I can't.
Yes, I believe he did at least once. Yep.
I think he got up to about sixth or seventh, and then he went to the back again. And
Yep.
so Greg Young finished third. And actually, you know what? Greg Young deserves second. So Brandon Conklin could take offense to that if he wants. Greg Young deserves second, and Conklin was
Yep.
just able to get underneath him on that last lap. So
Right.
tough break there. Mike Carapella, he finished fourth, and Scott Brown fifth. Carapella, that is a run that he needed after the week he had before. I believe that was his first night out last week, and I don't think he finished. He had a pretty tough luck. So
Yeah, and then let's just say, what is this? This is his third race, I believe. His third race on the season. Not bad for a 72-year-old veteran, huh?
is that how old he is?
Yeah, yep,
Well,
yep.
he might get mad at you for putting that out there.
I'm sure he won't. I tell you what. So last year he said he was all done. He was too old. He sold his car and got rid of everything. And it didn't take long when this season come on and he was watching it. I think it was probably he was listening to our podcast and he got the itch and said, "I need another car." So he went and bought one. And here he is. He's back. So he's having fun. And obviously he's got it figured out. He finished fourth, so he's doing better.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? We might just see him in victory lane coming up.
Well, good. And I do want to touch on Marcus Kerr. Marcus Kerr, he's going to move to the hobby stock. The late model stuff, just a little too much for them to keep up with, they're telling me. So they're just going to, um, do away with the late model stuff, and he's going to run the hobby stocks. So if anybody wants to buy a good late model, give Mike Kerr a call because they are,
Yep.
just, and that's a commitment, that just the time to do all that, or for a late model is just,
Oh,
it
for
takes so
sure.
much time. So I no,
Yep.
I don't think anybody can blame them for not wanting to put that commitment into it, or not having the time to do it. So
Right, right. Yep.
let's see here, and then we had Zach Pipe. He joined us again, and then Tom Wallace. I don't know if I've ever seen Tom Wallace
I
at the
have,
track.
yep. So I've watched Tom Wallace race before. He's a veteran. I don't know that I've seen him at Woodall. He's a veteran from Bradford Speedway. I know he races there regularly. He may race at a Genesee maybe normally on Saturday nights. I'm not 100% sure. I know he's from up that way.
He's from Wellsville.
Yeah, yep, yep. So I know he always races at Bradford. When I used to work up there, I used to see him up there a lot. But yeah,
Okay,
he's a
well,
good guy.
yeah, well, good, good.
I
Glad that
know
he
he,
joined us.
yeah, I know he did have some engine troubles the other night, but hopefully we see him come back too.
Right. Then we had so then we can move on. Wicked T's Quad C, and I don't know. For my money, people want to say whatever they want about the four cylinders, about how they're small, they don't go as fast, all this, but for my money, they put on the race of the night. And if you weren't a four-cylinder fan before that race, I don't know how you couldn't be afterwards. Because Wesley Hoteling, Nate Freeland, Blake Snyder, I think the three of them ran almost 2-3 wide the entire feature. And it was a lot of fun to watch. And I mean, that's just great racing.
It is, yeah. I don't know if anybody's paying attention to this, and I don't think these guys are given the credit that they deserve. But this
No.
class has been growing this year. This class has been growing leaps and bounds from what it was. The car count's coming up. The competition's getting fierce. I mean, just like you said, three wide. They were four wide. There was 2 and 2 for half the race. I mean, how can you
Mhm.
beat that? The people that stuck around, they definitely got a show for them guys.
Absolutely, and I mean, that just shows you, like you said, the talent in that class, and it's growing, and that's what you want to see. And you know what? Even I'm looking even farther. Danielle Morseman and DJ Williams, both of them had DNFs. They easily could have been right up there with them, and um that just goes to
Yep,
show you. And that's
yep,
I I
absolutely.
I can't say enough good things about the drivers in this class because it seems like every week people want to pick on them because they're the four cylinders, but you know what? They put on a show almost as good as anybody else. That's
They
uh
do.
so so Wesley Hoteling, he had that new power plant put in last week, and it's safe to say that he's doing a lot better because this week he actually looked like he knew what he was doing.
Right.
He picked up his second feature of the year. Nate Freeland second, third was Blake Snyder, fourth was Kaylee Morseman, and fifth was Joe Gillespie. Um, Kaylee Morseman had she finished fourth, which is good, and she had it had to have been fun for her to be back in her own car. The past
Yep.
the past 2 weeks that thing blew up in the Warriors and she had to hop into somebody else's car. Or I think the one week they had a backup car. And when it's not your car and the equipment might not be quite up to what you're used to. Or I know the one week it was a front wheel drive and she drives a mini stock, that's completely different. So
Yep.
it had to have been good for her to just be able to hop back in the seat of her own car.
Right, right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, Joe Gillespie there, he started in the back, the tail row, or way in the back. He missed, unfortunately, something happened and he missed his heat. So he started in the back and the feature made it all the way up to fifth. So a good run for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Yeah, I think I'm ready to move on from the Quad Cs.
Yep.
Then so what do we got here? The NY Penn IMCA Modified Series. Once again, this was sponsored by Chasing Dreams Transport and Lubick Sales and Marketing. John's gonna kill me if he ever if he listens to this. Um, in this race was there were some yellows. It is what it is. Um, they Rodney Morgan, he was in the lead, and then the rain came down. And for those of you that want to know, I don't want to touch on this. It's not our series. It's not really our decisions, what they do. I'm having Jake Maynard on Wednesday. So I'm going to ask him. So if you're interested to hear about why somebody didn't lose a spot or why they went back to that, I'm going to ask him. And you can hear right from them why they did it. I personally I think it was the right call to make. But I'm going to ask him and he can tell us exactly what they were thinking at that time because, like I said before, it's not really my place. It's his series, his deal. I'll let him
Right,
handle it.
right, right. I can tell you. So I was with Jake when all this went down, and we were all discussing. The rain had started. It started to sprinkle. The race was already halfway, and they came on from the tower and said, do you guys think the track is okay? Do you think we can try to go green?" And Jake and I both kind of looked at each other. What do you think? What do you think? And let's try it. Well, the minute they went green, cars were sliding everywhere, and we knew that. Instantly we knew we made the wrong decision. We couldn't get the caution out fast enough, so that's exactly what we did. So I can tell you that it was a wrong call by us on the infield, and yeah, it is what it is.
Well, yeah, like you said, it is what it is. It happens, and luckily, I don't think anybody really wadded up a race card because
No,
of it,
nope,
and that I guess that's the main thing.
yep, hmm
So Rodney Morgan, he picked up the win. Just a great weekend for him. He picked up the win at Outlaw on Friday night, picked up the win Saturday at Woodhall. Uh, I believe both tour races, right? Both,
yes, yep.
yep, both tour races. So just a dream weekend for him. Earl Zimmer, he led the first handful of laps, and I thought that he was going to get redemption. I still will go down and tell anybody that this place owes Earl Zimmer one. I can't promise that he's going to get it this year, but I think it does. I'm waiting for that luck to come back around for him.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The car has been fast. Every place he's been going, he's been running well. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's only a matter of time, I'm sure. And again, I'd like to say with these guys, they're kind of catching a bad rap. These guys they're having trouble. They're drawing a lot of cautions. But let's keep in mind, 95% of these drivers that are in this class right here have never raced at Woodhall until this year. None of them have experience on this track. they have no setup notes for their cars or nothing. This is all brand new to these guys. This is the first year that we've introduced them here, and they're struggling a little bit. And I understand it. They'll get it figured out, and when they do, we'll see some good competition with these cars.
Right.
I'm sure of it.
And they're traveling around a lot too.
Yep.
It's not like the well, I don't know, just the street stocks. You come to Woodhall every weekend, and after the first couple of weeks you kind of can dial in what you want to do. These
Yep.
guys are coming in what, 4 or 5 times this year, once a month, and then they're traveling
Uh-huh.
around to all these other tracks, and you kind of start to do something right at, I don't know, say Thunder Mountain. I think that's where they're racing almost weekly up there, and you're starting to hit on something at Thunder Mountain. Well, then you kind of try to take it to Woodhall, and your car does something different. So,
Right.
yeah, like you said, cut these guys some slack because that's a hard job. There's a reason that when you watch those big modified series, the same guys are winning every week, because you got to be good. You got to be good to go to a track and figure out the setup and get everything right on every time. So,
Yep, no, definitely. And a lot of a lot of the bigger cars, the bigger series, is they have multiple crew members that help them every day
hmm
on the car. Again,
absolutely.
these IMCA's aren't a high budget team. These guys are they're struggling to put things together to travel. It costs them a lot of money to travel. It costs a lot of money to get in the races every week. And yeah, no, I get it, and I cut them as much slack as I can because they're doing their best out there, and they're really not off by that much.
Right. Yeah, so I'm just going to read the top five here. Rodney Morgan picked up the win, Earl Zimmer second. Third went to Sean Bruce. Fourth went to Jacob Ingham. And Mike Wilcox finished in fifth. Um, so that's your top five. I see Jacob McConnell. He had the Hard Charger Award coming from 17th to
Yeah.
6th.
Yep.
Keith Lamphere, who came into the night. I don't have the NY Penn stuff pulled up, but I can tell you, um, for the Woodhall track, he came in the high point man. Ended
Hmm.
up losing that. Tough break for him. I think he ended up getting the hard luck award.
Hmm.
And then I guess I don't have much about. I guess I'll say kind of hard luck for Brad Delmeter too. You win the heat race, you win the dash, and then you get a DNF in the feature. That's
Right.
some hard luck.
Yep. It is.
Well, all right. You got anything else on the evening? That was all brought to you by McCourt's Auto Collision.
I don't really. I mean, what we have, a 10-minute rain delay on the night? I was pretty excited about that for what the radar looked like at the
Yeah.
beginning of the night. We were questioning whether or not we were going to get this show in. And, I said I was going to try to jam it through just because we've had so many rainouts this year. And, you want to get as many races in as possible. And we were lucky. We made it through, and a 12-minute rain delay, or 10 or 12 minutes, that's not bad. So
Yeah, right.
we'll take it.
Absolutely. And luckily Mother Nature was on our side. That. And
That's
the drivers did a great job. I think most features. I think the sprint cars had none. I think the mods had one. I think the late models had none, or no, they might have
yeah,
had one. I don't know. That the
yeah,
drivers did their part too. So,
right. They did absolutely.
well, you got anything else on the night, or are we ready to move on?
I think I'm ready to move on.
All right. Well, we can hit on the Insinger Performance Modified points. So after this weekend, yeah, says Carter Crooker still your points leader. He's got a 5 point lead over Dayton Brewer and Brady Foltz, who are tied for second and third. Aiden Grover is in fourth, 8 points back. Russell Morseman is in fifth, 24 points back. That's your top five. That Carter Crooker's looked really fast, and Brady Foltz has been fit. All five of them guys have been really fast all year. So kind of no
They have,
surprise when you look at the points and they're the top dogs.
yep, no surprise there.
Right. Uh, well, we can move down. Well, I don't know. I guess I'll just mention the Hometown Excavation Crate Sportsmen. They were off this week, so every time we have the IMCA's with us, a class gets the night off. So the Hometown Excavation Crate Sportsmen had their night off, but Kenny Peoples Jr., he's got a 22-point lead over Tim Guild in second. Third's Quentin Buchanan, 56 points back. Fourth is Brandon Morseman, 57 points back. And fifth is Glenn Trowbridge, 70 points back. We just buzzed through them. We touched on all that last time, and nothing's changed. So.
Right.
Moving on, Southern Tier Customs Rush Crate Late Models. Brett Marlatt, he extended his point lead with a feature win this weekend. That's up to 27 points over Steve LeBaron. 54 points over Marshall O'Brien in third. Ricky Laux is fourth, 64 points back. And Joe Layfield is fifth, 72 points back. So, I guess the one thing I want to say in that is Marshall O'Brien sitting third in points. That's, for somebody who, well, he heard it last year, he went through some growing pains with the late model and he heard about it. And for him to sit third in points and the runs he's been having lately, that's a good showing for him.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I would like to touch on Rich McNeil. Hasn't been there the last 2 weeks, and I can tell you, um, he's had some health issues, and he was pretty sick a couple weeks ago when he was there. So let's hope that Rich is feeling better, and hopefully we see him back at Woodhall here coming up in the next couple weeks. So,
So so before the races, I was making my rounds through the pit area, and I went up and I talked to AJ and Ricky Hunsinger,
uh-huh.
IMCA guys,
Yep.
and I was talking to them, and well, told me that Rich has just still been sick, so hopefully he gets feeling better and get back to what he wants to do, but
You're
so
right. Yeah,
we can
absolutely.
think about him. So from what I was told is that he's still pretty sick, so I
Yeah,
don't know much more than that, but you
right.
know. And then Wyatt White, he's still the leader in the clubhouse for Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
I guess we can move on. Lad Road Auto Hobby Stocks. Brandon Conklin, he extended his point lead to 21 over Dylan Phillip. Dylan Phillip had a miserable week night. Saturday
He,
was not a good night for Dylan Phillip.
he's been struggling the last 2 weeks.
hmm Uh, Third is Scott Brown, 42 points back. Joe Birzel's fourth, 49 points back. And Reese Hackett somehow Reese Hackett's fifth, 94 points back.
Yeah, I'm not sure how on that one, but yes, there's a guy that's been struggling like crazy.
I mean, I don't think he's had a good run for all month. I think he's probably one of the only people that are happy that summer's working its way to an end because he has not had a good start to the year.
Yeah, that's for sure. As a matter of fact, he got the hard luck award last week. So yeah, he's
And we could give it to him again this week.
yeah, yep, yep. Bad luck
Um,
just continues on.
well, yeah, Reese Hackett, he's the rookie of the year. Leader in the clubhouse there. Josh Stone is what's that? Probably 40 points back.
Yep.
So,
Hmm.
I'd say Josh Stone would need a lot of good luck in order to catch Reese Hackett for that, but
Right, for
you never
sure.
know, things happen, so weirder things
Yep.
happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Joe Wilcox Performance Automatic Street Stocks. Teddy Morseman took back over the point lead. Uh, 11 points over Dan Gardner. Dan Gardner was your point leader last week, and this week he comes in 11 points back. Just a brutal night. You
Yep.
know, I'm not sure what happened in that car, but he started second and it broke on him. And that, when you're trying to fight for the points and then you can't have that happen anyway. And then when you
Right.
do and the other guy wins, that's tough.
Yep. No, for sure.
Dale
I know
Hoteling,
Dan's been around the sport a long time. He'll get that car back. He'll get it dialed in, and he'll be
absolutely,
back. You haven't seen the end of this point battle. Let me tell you. I'm sure that
absolutely.
the month of August is going to be interesting in this class also.
Dale Hoteling, he sits third, 33 points back. Bradley Morseman is fourth, 35 points back, and Mick Seeley is fifth, 46 points back. Dale Hoteling, Rookie of the Year, in the street stocks. Um, and I don't even know. I don't know if Bradley's planning on racing the rest of the year in the street stocks.
Oh
I,
yeah.
I probably should have went up and talked to him, but it was on Facebook, so I'm going to mention it here. He got a Sportsman, so
Huh?
I don't actually know what Bradley's plans are. I think just about every Morseman, to my knowledge, has dabbled in a Sportsman. I know
Right.
Teddy drove a Sportsman, Danielle drove a Sportsman,
Yep.
Brandon still does. So, you know what? Maybe the only one that hasn't is Little Russell, and that's just because he went right to the modifieds.
Right. Yep.
um, yeah. I can't tell you what Bradley's doing. But that's your top five for the street stocks. Wickety Quad C's. Blake Snyder comes in and he's got a 33-point gap over Wesley Hoteling. In second, third's Nate Freeland with 35. Fourth, Joe Gillespie with 77. And fifth is Danielle Morseman, 85. That 18 is going to be tough to close that gap on. I
Well, I want to touch on that a little bit, Joe. I, so rumor has it that there's a huge race this weekend out in Indiana, and Blake's already qualified for it. So this coming Saturday
oh
night, and it's like I don't even remember. I think it's like $7,000 or $10,000 to win. So I'm a little I'm up in the air. I talked to them the other day, and they were still up in the air on whether or not they were going to go. It's a big race out there. Costs a lot of money to get into it. They are into it, but he's pretty excited about leading the points championship at Woodhall, and he really doesn't want to lose that. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens next Saturday night if he shows up or not. So,
well, I'll tell you one thing. I would not blame the guy if you're into a race that pays that much money if you want to go run it.
yep, no,
You know,
absolutely, yep,
points are fun, but you know what else is fun? That much money.
yep, that's right, absolutely, yep,
So whatever he wants to do, he can do, and that could, I mean, if Wesley could go out and win the
yep,
heat race, he could go into next week up by 8.
yep.
That'd be so.
Actually, he would no, he would go in by he would be leading by two because he would get 35 points. He's 33 out. He
Oh
would
yeah,
get
I'm sorry. For some reason, I was thinking 35 for the.
Yeah, no, 30 for the
Yeah,
win and
yeah,
five for the
you're right.
heat. So it could be a 2 point lead, which really would close it up. And if that's the case, boy, month of August is going to be really something to watch in this class.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, that you know what? Maybe that's an endorsement for Blake Snyder to go down there and race.
Yep, absolutely. Yep,
All right. So the IMCA's, well, let's go to the Warriors first. I guess we got the Warriors right here. Woodhull Warriors, this one is close. The three cars that have showed up every week, Courtney Thomas currently a race leader, and Bella Morseman, Caden Thomas both tied for second, 2 points back.
absolutely.
Uh
2 points in the top three. Doesn't get no better than that.
no, I don't know. The Morsemans are gonna have their hands full, I think, keeping these kids away from each other.
Yep, yep, for
At,
sure.
at least I know that if it was me and my brother racing for a championship, you know, I think my parents would have their hands full. So
Yeah, I'm sure mine would. I'm pretty sure my brother knows exactly what would happen if it was him and I. So hopefully they got something worked out between the two of
yeah. Well, the
them.
good thing is at least the Morseman will finish all the top three spots will be a Morseman. So at
Yep,
least they can
yep,
hang their heads on that.
right, yep.
All right. So then, well, we have the IMCA's. We get to talk about the IMCA's a little bit. Um, after this past weekend, Jacob Ingham, he's going to take over the top spot. Keith Lanphier drops to second. He's 3 points back. Jacob McConnell is third, 4 points back. Tyler Belcher is fourth, 13 points back. And Jay McConnell is fifth, 14 points back. So, and I mean, geez, what's this? The top nine are 18 points apart. So that's almost, that's almost anything could happen.
It is, absolutely. Yep, yep,
No? If I know Keith Lanphier, he came into this weekend as the point leader for the Woodhall um points and he broke and Ingham I think finished fourth it was. So and they're from what I see on Facebook, they're pretty good friends too. So maybe they'll be battling that out too.
right, right. It just goes to show if you look back on this, look at how tight the points are in every class this year. It just goes to show the amount of competition at Woodhall and the competitiveness that's there. It's been a great season so far. And yeah, none of these every race is still up in the air. I mean, there's nobody that's closed it up yet. So,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through them right now. I think the biggest gap is probably the four cylinders at 33. And like you said, if Blake Snyder elects to go down south or go to Indiana, that'll that'll
yeah,
really pull them together.
yep, absolutely.
And I just keep going back and looking at that modified class. The modifieds are unbelievably close, you know.
Uh-huh.
8 points in the top four. You got well, I don't would you categorize Dayton Brewer as a young gun?
Oh, definitely.
And
Definitely would.
so you got four young gun or three young guns and then I don't know, old man Brady.
Right? Yep.
I don't know. I don't even know if people would call him old, but I guess compared to the other four.
Right, right. Yeah, I think geez, I don't even know how old Brady is, to be honest with you.
No, I don't know either. I'd have to imagine 30s, 35, 40,
Oh,
somewhere in there.
actually I got him. I have him right here in front of me at 37. So I guess he
37.
is one of the older veterans in the class right there
Well,
in the top five.
when you want to compare him to Carter Crooker and Aiden Grover, yeah.
Right. Yep. Dayton Brewer. Yep. Absolutely.
Well, that's your points after this weekend. Um, you got anything more about points, or are you pretty much wrapped up there?
I'm pretty much wrapped up. I think I'm good with it.
All right, so now we're just gonna touch on what's going on up ahead this coming Saturday night. That is the King of the Bull Ring for the Insinger Performance Modifieds. That is $800 to win for the Modifieds. Um, that's sponsored by Leland F. Harris. I believe, does Bradley Supply, are they sponsoring the King of the Bull Ring? Or am I
Um,
am
they
I
could be.
mistaken?
Yeah, I think they are actually. I believe
Okay.
they are. So
So
again, can you imagine this, Joe? $800 for 2 laps. I mean, I think I might try to find me a modified this week. What do you think? You think you and I could pull it off? One of
uh,
us could drive. One of us could drive. The other one could be the crew chief. What do you think? So we only got to go 2 laps.
I think it depends. Are you gonna call back the start again if you door somebody? Because that's the only way you're gonna win.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, for $800, we do what we got to do, Joe.
I'm going to tell you right now, Kyle Leach listens to this podcast. He's going to remember that.
That's right, right, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, we should probably apologize now.
But yeah, so that's this weekend. That's a cool event. Those are that and you know what? You look at how close the points are coming into this weekend, and I don't know. There's probably what 15 cars that could win that thing.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
is.
realistically, there's probably.
Yep, absolutely.
I
There
mean,
is.
that class is just unbelievable. I kind of wonder if you might see a few people pop in here. I'm not entirely sure, but you never know. And then on
Right.
Wednesday night, that is
Wait,
55.
I want to do one more thing on that King of the Ring, Joe. I want to go on a limb here. I want to know who your pick is for the King of the Ring. Who you got?
I asked you last time and you wouldn't give me an answer.
I know, but I have one this time. So this time I came prepared in case you asked me and you didn't ask me.
Okay, who's your pick?
So you know what? I'm going out on a limb here because I love to pick the underdog. I'm going with Greg Turner on this one. I think he could pull it off. 2 laps, I think he could pull it off.
All right. You know who I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with Russell Morseman.
Oh,
Older one, the dad.
there you go.
That's my pick.
There you go. Absolutely. The guy that wins the heat every week. So yeah, absolutely. He has a fast car. He's just yeah,
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, he's got that big black power, but
he does. Yep.
uh, yeah, so that is a lead up to Wednesday night, August 6th. 5,500 to win for the modifieds, 2,000 to win for the sportsman, 500 to win 600 cc's. Um, I don't know. I know Kim and Brad are working on some contingency stuff for the uh modifieds. I know Joe Trappler at Trappler Trucking, JT Logging, they're sponsoring uh what is it, $100 for the heat race winners for the modifieds.
I believe so. Yeah, something
Uh
like that, I think.
and W&W Groceries in Woodhull, who have the best subs that one can buy. Straight from the
Yep.
horse's mouth.
Right.
They're sponsoring the hard charger award. So they might have more. That's all I got for now. So that should be a great show that always draws in some some eyes. I know Eric Rudolph tentatively is planning on coming. I know Dan Creedon tentatively planning on coming.
Yep.
Um, some guys I talk to, it depends on how up north goes. I know the short track super series has a couple races that week. Um,
Right.
so the guys I talked to, some of them said it depends on how that goes for them. You never know. You never know who might pop in.
Right.
Uh,
Yep. No, absolutely. It
my
definitely is
favorite
going to be
race
a
of the
good
year.
show. Yep.
Hmm.
It's definitely, and I'm kind of excited for these 600cc mods to come back too. Remember the last time they were here, they put on an awesome show, and I
Yes.
can't wait to see them out there again.
Somebody put on Facebook when we announced that they were coming, and they said that that Woodhull is the perfect track for a 600 cc's.
Right.
And after watching that race, I would have to agree that
Yep.
that show was phenomenal. I know Aiden Miller, he picked up the win last time. He's planning on coming. He's going
Hmm.
to come back and try to defend that win. I
Right.
believe he had to drive from towards the back half of the redraw too to pick up the win. So,
All right.
just a fun deal. That's my favorite race of the year, like I said before, and hopefully we can get a whole bunch of cars and pack that place, and we're all dog tired going to work tomorrow because we got to be there because we got to run so many races.
That's right. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Um, so yeah, and that's sponsored by BH Log Hauling and Pepsi. Um, like I said, Kim and Brad, they pretty much if there's a big race at Woodhull, it seems like BH Log Hauling is they seem to be behind it. So they're
Right. Yep.
they're sponsoring the Honoring Alice race once again. And then I do just want to do a quick mention here on August 9th, Saturday, August 9th. Um, CRSA Sprint Cars, my good friend Marty Sakala, he'll be back in the house calling the action for them. No modifieds that night. Modifieds are off.
Yep.
They're racing this Saturday, they're racing Wednesday. We figure we could give them next Saturday off. So, um,
That's right.
they are off. So if you want to bring your modified and you want to pay the pit fee, you can feel free, but you're not going to be able to race.
Right.
uh, and that's sponsored by Cole Trucking and Gravel. So that takes you up to August 9th. And then August 16th, you got the vintage cars are back. Classic on dirt. Vintage cars. IMCA also back in the house on August 16th. No Warriors, no Quad Cs. So no four cylinders that night. Um, I bet Blake Snyder wishes that was this week.
Hey, oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Um, I guess that's August 23rd, back to school backpack giveaway. I believe Jean Wilcox is already working at getting stuff done for that, so that should be a great show. She did a phenomenal job with the bicycle, so if she's gonna put her mark on the backpack giveaway, that'll be something special as well. And then actually, I lied to you, Terry. I said the classics on dirt were August 16th. You told me before that they were off that week, so I didn't update my schedule. So they're
Wait a
not
second.
there. The IMCAs are back, no Quad Cs, no Warriors
Yes.
that night, but they're not there. They are there August 30th. August
Yes, that's
30th.
correct. That's
And
correct.
that is also the Dave Klein four-cylinder dash for cash.
Yes, absolutely is. And I want to add to that, Joe. I haven't had a chance to really talk with you on this, but you can put this on your schedule right there. Um, on that night, August 30th, I had two more sponsors jump on board today. So Shifty's Bar and Grill in Westfield and Westfield Beverage has both put up some extra money for that race that night. So,
Okay, good deal. And I do want to mention to everybody that dash for cash is open to all four cylinders. Um,
yep,
and I talked to Wesley a little bit. I don't know because my idea is you can't run a dash with 20 cars.
right,
So I
right.
don't know if the plan here is to, take top three from the heats, exactly what the plan is, but I guess when we figure out the amount of cars, we'll come up with a game plan for that. But that is open to all four cylinders. So
Yes, we've talked about it a little bit, and the talk is going to continue on, and we're going to come up with a plan here. It should be in the next couple of weeks. Probably we'll have a plan put together for that. So,
right. Yeah, and sometimes that's a little tough to exactly nail down what you want to do because you never
right,
know. You could get 8 cars, in which case a Dash for Cash would be perfect. Or you could get 22, and then, Dash for Cash is a little tough because we don't really want it to turn into a demolition derby. And if you're starting 21st in a 10 lap race for 500 to win for the Quad Cs, that's a
Yeah,
it's kind of a tough deal.
it is. Absolutely. Definitely is. That's for sure. So we'll
Um,
play it by ear. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see.
absolutely.
There has been quite a bit of interest in it so far, so we're kind of watching it, and we're trying to take some notes onto it, and hopefully we come up with something, that'll work out for us. So
Right. Absolutely. Well, is there anything that you got schedule wise?
there isn't. I think we're about covered it this week. So
Okay. And I do just want to mention again, like I do every week, just about that. Joe Wilcox, he's still doing a lot for that street stock race, August 20th, the Woodhull, no, September 20th,
yep,
the Woodhull 100. He's got a bunch of sponsors already, a lot of money that he's raised for that race. Um, if you want to be a part of it, get a hold of him. You'll see the stuff on Facebook, the shout outs for the sponsors. They get yard signs down in front of the grandstands. Um, you know,
I believe they've started collecting lap money now.
yep,
So John has. So you'll start seeing that around, and I don't even remember what it is. If it's $20 or $25, you can sponsor a lap and put anything on it that you want.
right. Yeah. I think that they should put a so let's say lap 46 just goes to the announcer. Is that
Oh, there
can
you
I put that? Can anybody put money on that or does it have to be a driver?
No, it could be
Oh,
anybody. There's
yeah.
a lot of fans that'll put money on it. You'll see. I mean, it's yeah,
No,
anybody
no,
can.
no. I mean to pay the announcer.
Oh, to pay the announcer.
I
Oh,
mean, you know how like lap 6 usually goes to like sixth place. Well, I want lap like 48 to go to the announcer. Is that something we can work out, or is that
well, we probably could, but then we would have a fight on who's going to be announcing that night. We don't want that.
no? No, I guess you're right. I guess you're
but
right.
but I do have some good news for you. You wouldn't have to worry about it being me stealing your job because unfortunately I will not be there that night. So I'm going to miss this race. So
Yeah, Terry Pierce thinks it's okay to take weekends off.
I know, unfortunately, I'm stuck. So yes, I am going to miss a race. I think that'll be my first one in like 3 or 4 years. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I'll handle that yet. I'll have to be watching my race pass all night long. So
Well, you got a longer run than I do.
yeah,
Yeah, I missed one 2 years ago, so I guess you got me beat.
right, yeah, no, that happens.
In my defense, I think that was allowed though.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure it was.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not very many things I put above racing, but the birth of my daughter probably be above that.
That's right. That's right.
Not to mention, I think I'd be eating food through a straw for the rest of my life if I wasn't there.
Well, I mean, it's priorities. It's all about priorities, Joe. If you remember right, a couple of weeks ago, that we had a couple there where the guy proposed to his girlfriend. So, I don't. Maybe we need to build a birthing center there at the racetrack, just 4 or 5 people. I don't know.
Well, I hope we mop the floors.
Oh Lord.
Uh, well, Terry, you got anything else tonight, or you about
I
you
don't.
about ready to wrap this thing up?
I think I'm ready to wrap it up.
All right. Well, once again, I do want to thank McCourt's Auto Collision. I want to thank the Empire Super Sprints. I want to thank the NY Penn IMCA Modified Series. I want to thank Jake Maynard. I want to thank oh boy. Oh no, it's not John. I know his Chasing Dreams Transport and
Yeah.
Lubick Sales and Marketing. Is they, all of them had a little bit of a hand to do in what went on Saturday night. I do want to remind everybody to please like and subscribe on the YouTube page on Apple Podcasts and TikTok. Leave a review, rate 5 stars, all that fun stuff. We're on Facebook at Woodhall Raceway and Woodhall Raceway 64 on TikTok. Terry, I think next week we get to do this twice. So until then, you have a good night.
Absolutely. I'll do that. You do the same, Joan. We'll see you soon.
I'll try.